Okay, so let's start this live event. Shelby. Let me see here. Okay. Am I live or what? I guess I'm live. And yes, no one's here. Perfect. So now I can just relax. Oh no! They're here! The zombies are here chasing me! Oh no! There's more zombies! Bro, I need help too, I need help too, So, today's subject, my god, what is today's subject? Oh my god. So last night was probably one of my most learned nights ever. It's raining right now, like really crazy. I don't know if you guys can hear it. But last night I was up till 2:30 a.m. with Dr. Jin Pi. And what I discovered about Nakshatra with him, Dr. Pi has, it's like, imagine like a needle, okay? And a needle is held by Dr. Pi. And when he throws it, it goes through this small hole and pierces through. Last night was my final day of learning some deep, deep secrets about Nakshatra through Dr. Jin Pi. And the things that I discovered not only about myself, about my family members, Dr. Pi, I feel like Dr. Pi just knows everything about me. Without even him seeing my chart, he knows everything about me. So, let me just say this. Nakshatras are the and I've been saying it for quite a while. Nakshatra is the reason why astrology exists. Zodiac sign, they don't do nothing. If I gave you sun in the sign of Capricorn without the degree, just the sun, it's going to be a very, 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 very vague analysis of what the sun is doing in your horoscope. But as soon as you just know the nakshatra, man, you can open up a truckload of information. So, yeah, I mean, nakshatra, and it's so funny that why I'm attracted to nakshatra, why Dr. Pi is attracted to nakshatra. Something he told us that we both have. And this is the reason why we should only focus towards the nakshatra, especially people like me and him. So actually, I mean, I have a nakshatra reading on my website right now open, option 18, and I'm only looking for 5 readings. But the greatest of knowledge was given to me last night from 11 o'clock p.m. to 2 a.m. I mean, I didn't even want to go to sleep. The thing was, my eyes were shutting like this towards the end. When we were on the Revati Nakshatra section, I was like this. But I was like seeing that and I'm like taking notes. So it's I mean, last night was my greatest lesson in astrology. And I'm also having Sateep, you know, the creator of Pi Map. He's also going to teach me even more. So I'm looking forward to that. But just what he said, some of the most peculiar thing, you know, like when you go to a reading, let some really old astrologer, an old astrologer says, day after marriage, you got injury in your knee on the 6th month. You know these little tidbits of things that you hear. And you're like, oh my God, how do you know this? Now they may say, oh yeah, it's your dashas and this and that. But they're really looking at nakshatra to time that. Or like, let's say when, let's say your son is born. Okay, you have a child who's born. Within 4 months of them being born, you kind of chip your teeth, the front teeth, or you get some dental work done. I mean, it was kind of like that. Those tidbits of knowledge that it just shows you have no free will. You are pretty much playing. This is what it is, the nakshatra. You are pretty much are a string puppet to the devtas of the nakshatras. It's like, it's not even string puppet, I should say. Devtas are sending people down. They're like taking a body part of themselves and duplicating it and sending it on earth. That's okay, go live my life. I want you to live my life. That's how it is. That's all it is. That is only, that's all it is. There's no like, oh, I have a choice to do this and I have a choice to do that. Oh, free will. No, we are string puppets and we are living pretty much the wishes and the desires of the nakshatra devas. That's what I discovered last night. We are living the script, the written script of the devas. Because see, we as souls, and this is something I learned from this very spiritual master known as Ramesh something, I forgot his name. Our soul is like this, okay? When we go to a movie theater, right? Why do you go to a movie theater? You saw the trailer of the movie. You read about the story. You saw all the actors that are going to be involved in the movie. You saw the main actor. You know how the movie can end or will end by reading the story. You know the director, the producer, the location of the movie, the release date of the movie, when it starts, when it ends. Okay, you know all this. But what do? You still pay money to go watch the movie. That is us, our soul. Our soul has already seen everything from the moment you were in the cradle all the way to the grave. Like the Tupac song, Cradle to the Grave. And here's your entire life story. And you already know everything that's going to happen, yet you still come and live that life. Because you want to enjoy it. It's our soul who's like inside is just enjoying this movie theater that we are in. We're playing the character and it's enjoying this as a movie. That's our life. Remember that. So now comes down to the true personality. What is our true personality? If you really want to know, and don't follow this junk astrology known as, oh, what's your sun sign? Oh, I'm a Scorpio. Oh, I'm an Aries. Oh, I'm a Pisces. Well, I'm an Aquarius, so I don't think we're going to get along. Please don't follow this junk astrology. This is like high school astrology that it's good for a good laughter. Your true personality is set by two things. One, your very first Mahadasha and Antradasha that starts you. So the moment when you're born and your Mahadasha starts, let's say you're born in the Nakshatra of Pushya, you're going to start your Mahadasha with Saturn. But then you can start your Mahadasha with Saturn Mercury or Saturn Ketu or Saturn Sun, maybe Saturn Mars. That sets your personality, how you're going to behave, how you're going to show the world how you are. That's one. Okay? Number two is the Nakshatras. And the three things that define you, well, is it three? Oh, no. Okay. The three things that define your personality, something which you may not tell the people, something which you will be hidden underneath. People will not know you, yet people will still see some of it come out, is obviously your ascendant nakshatra, moon nakshatra, and Atmakarka nakshatra. But now you're going to say, well, these three nakshatras are totally different and they're saying this. One is saying this, one is saying this. Yes, they are saying that. And you're going to play all those things. You are going to behave like all those things. I can say that with guaranteed, like 100%. You are going to behave like that. And on top of that, you're also behaving like your first Mahanantra Dasha. These are the things you just can't get away with. It won't change. Even with Mahadasha, your focus in life will change, but your character will not change. Those are two different things. Let's say you have a very demonic character. You run into your Jupiter Mahadasha, your life focus turns to children, family, dealing with money, dealing with religion. But your character is still not changing, which is a demonic and very malevolent character. You know, it's like, let's say you're a mafia person, you're killing people, you're doing that, you're in your Jupiter Mahadasha, but suddenly you all start going to the temple or church. And you get kids in your life. You focus towards raising your kids. But that doesn't mean you become soft, because that thing is right there. That is your true personality. Okay. Then about the other topic that I want to discuss is Ashtakvarga. So as you know, last 2 weeks I've discussed Ashtakvarga. I haven't really made a proper video, which I made, but obviously, as you know, I have a proper video on it on my website in option 16 and 17, where you get this pre-made video by me on Ashtakvarga, where you learn everything. But one thing you understand about this one concept known as Kakshaya slot. Kakshaya slot are 3.45 degree section of a zodiac sign from 0 to 3.45. And you can divide them and they will come to 8. Like 8 divided into this will come to 3.45 degree or percent of the zodiac sign. They are controlled by planets. Like first one is controlled by Saturn, then I believe it's Jupiter, then Mars, Sun, Mercury, Venus, Moon, the ascendant. So H3 and the 3.45 degrees is a Kakshaya slot. Right within your birth chart, if you don't even use Kakshaya slot, but you know that, okay, at this degree, a planet, let's say, sitting at 1 degree of Aries, okay, or 1 degree of any sign, or 3 degrees of any sign, that planet was born for you in the Kakshaya of Saturn, because the very first 3.45 degrees of any zodiac sign is controlled by Saturn. Then the next 3.45 will be by Jupiter, then Mars, Sun, blah, 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 whichever the sequence is. I'm not sure of the sequence right off the top of my head. But those planets being in the Kakshaya of a planet is like, imagine a planet as a body, like Mars as a body. So Mars is in the sign of Aries at 2 degrees, 3 degrees. Okay, so it's going to be in some Nakshatra, Sampada, fine. But it is in the Kakshaya of Saturn. Because it's in the Kakshaya of Saturn, just imagine Saturn as the soul of Mars that's driving Mars. So what happens is, the very first few degrees, Mars will have the soul of Saturn. Its action will be driven by the motivation of Saturn. So if, let's say, your Mars is in the very end degrees, the last 3.45 degrees, its soul will be like the ascendant. So whatever your ascendant lord is, that kind of becomes the soul of that Mars. And this goes for any planet, whatever degrees they are in. For all zodiac signs, the first point 3.45 will be Saturn, then this, then this, then this, then this, then this, then this. So if you can see, especially in your Ashtakvarga section, if you get, like, once you see the report, the astrological report, there's a Ashtakvarga section. So you'll see exactly which kakshaya your planet is sitting in. And you will see, oh, okay, so my planet is behaving like this. So your internal soul is like that planet, like that kakshaya slot. And you can understand a whole lot more about how you behave, let's say, with your career. How are you going to take your career? Are you going to take your career in a very fun way, or in a very serious way, in a very leadership tone, in a very emotional tone? That becomes very important when right off the bat when you see it. So you want to see someone, let's say sun represents your father. So you see sun in a certain degree, certain nakshatra, okay? And so you start to see, okay, what the sun is. But then also, if let's say sun is in the kakshaya of Venus, then this sun, which is the body, sun has given a body in your life. That sun will have the soul of Venus. And whatever sun does is going to be based on Venus's action, Venus's motivation, which could be either for love, relationship, arts, creativity, teaching, music. So pay attention to the the kakshaya of a planet. And also kakshaya slot is mainly used for transits. It's mainly used for transit. So let's say you have, and this is a perfect example my teacher Mark Boney gave in one of the classes, where he was talking about Al Gore. And Al Gore, Mars, receives 1 point, I believe, in the 12th house. Was it 12th house? Yes, it was a 12th house. And so in his lessons, Mark Boney is like, well, this Mars receives 1 point. It's a lord of this and this house. So receiving 1 point it's not the best points for Mars. And 1 point simply means that Mars is only awake in one of the kakshaya. See, you get maximum of 8 points. Any planet can get maximum of 8 points, minimum of 0. So when there's only 1 point in Ashtakvarga scheme, it shows that Mars is only awakened in that one spot of kakshaya. Okay? So if Mars, let's say, in the kakshaya of Saturn, okay? So when Mars transits the first 3.45 degrees of that zodiac sign that Mars is sitting in, that's the only time Mars will be awakened and will be like, okay, here's your gift. Mars will give you the gift, meaning it'll give you whatever results it's supposed to give you. If let's say Mars is only awakened 1 time with that 1 point in the kakshaya of Mercury. So when Mars transits, I believe, between 13 degrees or 15 degrees and is in the kakshaya of Mercury, don't quote me on that, Mars will then suddenly be awakened. I'm like, oh, here's your gift. And then you see that, okay, is this planet Mars, who has 1 point, becomes quite malefic and receives this 1 point and is awakened here. Is Mars friendly to that kakshaya or not? So like Mars is not friendly to Mercury in the scheme. And it's pretty much neutral to every other planet. Okay? So it's even neutral to Saturn too. So Mars, right when that comes to that degree point, it'll be awakened. And what happened was with the Al Gore horoscope, where his Mars receives 1 point, he broke his arm. Because Mars was ruling a certain houses, and it was sitting in the 12th house of hospitals. So right when that kakshaya spot, when Mars transited that 1 kakshaya spot, and Mahadasha and Antradasha showed some injury, something occurring, that transit then showed that yes, at this point it'll happen. It was so beautiful. But for this, obviously, you can't just say, oh, your Mars is at 1 point every time comes to this point, it'll give you hurt. No, no, no. You have to see what the Mahadasha is, the Vimshotri Mahadasha. Is it showing anything? Okay. Is the Antradasha showing anything? Okay, so the Antradasha shows something. And this planet is going to transit here in this Kakshaya and will be awakened. Okay, you'll get that results. Good or bad, both. So if Mars was supposed to give you great rise in a certain transit and it's only awakened one time in that Kakshaya, well, it'll give you that for that one small portion, whatever it's transiting for 2, 3 days, 4 days, whatever, and it'll give you those things. So this is how you use Ashtakvarga, and there's more layers to Ashtakvarga too, which we'll discuss later on. Okay, so let's see what's happening here. What do you mean eclipse falling on natal north? How do you interpret a nakshatra ruled by a certain planet, like Venus in Mula ruled by Ketu, Jupiter plus Ketu? No, you don't need to worry about all that. If you, let's say you know the insights to the nakshatra, then you will easily, okay, be able to understand what Venus is going to do in a certain nakshatra. Okay, so like Venus is in Mula nakshatra. So whenever Venus goes into like Mula nakshatra, there's natural love for, like your spouse will love to eat any kind of a vegetable or fruit which is grown underground, like carrots or onions or whatever. I don't know if garlic is grown underground or not, but you can see that happening. They have, especially your spouse, if Venus is in Mula Nakshatra, your spouse loves to take things apart. Even as a kid, they would break things. They would break things, they would break up their toy, and they'll look inside, and they're like, okay, how is this working? But then what happens is they have a hard time putting it back together. And because of that, they're always stuck in that realm of fixing. So let's say if your spouse is a scientist, and they're reverse engineering something or they're researching something, that's something that they will always be stuck in researching, because once they're in it, it's hard for them to leave and get out of it. They discovered something, but they keep going deeper and deeper into that discovery. And naturally, the spouse will be extremely brave with Mula Nakshatra. They love to crush things. You know, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, he loves to like crush things with a tank. So they as well like to like just crush the cans or crush things apart. They always tend to get healed by herbs more than regular medicine. Like more than allopathic medicine, they'll do very well with like Ayurvedic medicine. And even if they don't want to, they're always close to the nature. Whether they grew up on a farm or whether they grew up near a lot of land and trees. So these are all the things that you can see. You don't need to know where Ketu is. You don't need to know where Jupiter is. You just need to know what Venus is doing. And especially in the Patha, you can see, you know, how it's going to come out. Jupiter, Mars, Venus in Scorpio, 10th house. Well, again, depending upon the nakshatra, usually what this shows is that one's education would either take place in dealing in chemicals, pharmaceuticals, or going into fields of like technology and actuary. Actuary is one of the things in business management which shows the measurement of risk. Pretty much it's a business management type position, but mainly most of the time though, a person will go into fields of health, medicine, chemicals, chemical engineering, biomechanical engineering, especially if Moon is in the 5th house with this conjunction, or moon is aspecting from the fourth house, most definitely you can see that this person is going to go in environmental science or medicine or something like that. So I don't know if is that something you're doing with Jupiter, Mars, and Leo. And usually the people become very dynamic too, very creative, artistic. Like they have a great presence on the screen. Mars in the 10th house in Leo. Naturally, you have great affinity towards becoming like a police officer, IPS officer, athlete, boxer. Like you want challenge in your work. You want to hit hard in your work. You want to be the king of the jungle with holding the gun. Natural, again, depending upon nakshatra, it can bring fascination towards either collecting swords or guns. Um, Great need to protect. Like you want a career where you are protecting something, kind of like somebody who can even become a security guard. You'd run into very, very powerful bosses and coworkers. Like whoever your coworker is or bosses, they're just people that are straightforward and very much courageous. Saturn in the sixth house in Capricorn. That means you're a Leo ascendant. So Saturn in the sixth house is actually one of the best placement for Saturn. Saturn in the third and sixth become the best, especially sixth. Why? Because wherever Saturn sits, it suppresses those things. Okay? So Saturn sitting in the sixth house suppresses one's debts, destroys one's enemies, and protects one from diseases, and especially being in its own sign. Saturn aspects the eighth house, gives a person a long life, does not give you too many sudden ups and downs. Saturn aspects the 12th house, decreases your, expenses, daily expenses, and wasteful spending. Then Mars aspects the third house with its 10th aspect of karma, which means that Saturn will give you the results of your fruits or the fruits of your labor. Saturn will give you the fruits of your karma. So beautiful position for Saturn to be in. Especially in Uttara Ashada, I have seen people who go and pretty much work in government, non-profit organizations, and social welfare, social reform. Or if let's say Sun and Mars influence the Saturn, then one can even be a civil engineer. Jupiter, Mars in the sixth house. I mean, you must be a national athlete. This is a great placement where a person becomes like a general, like a guru with a sword. So here you're able to negotiate your way out of dealing with problems, enemies, disputes. You become extremely brave towards dealing with competition and enemies. And depending upon what sign it is, so I can't really say much deeper than that, but this is something that's known as Guru Mangal Yoga. Guru Mangal Yoga in the sixth house will show that a person becomes a great manager in their daily work routine. Somebody who's like very fierce at work. Somebody who does very well with dealing with and managing debts through logic. This shows that your guru is also a very strong personality, somebody who's very cutthroat. Your guru has many enemies, deals with many competitiveness in their own life. And through your guru, you get the advice to deal with your enemies. Sun in Ardhra 8th house. Oh man, this is a interesting thing. Sun, first of all, either you or your father are an outcast, absolute outcast, loners. There's probably natural love to either eat wild animals or not wild, like exotic animals. Naturally, either a person becomes a very good technocrat or somebody who deals with like emergencies of people. like a surgeon, emergency room surgeon. Naturally, people can become quite careless with this. There's strong will to seek spirituality, and especially through Shiva Tantra. And one lives in foreign lands. And usually you have a very good memory, but it's a type of memory where if somebody does something to you, you will not forget it and you will pay that thing back. Kind of like the elephant who has such a great memory that if you hurt the animal or elephant and you came back 30 years later to the same elephant, he will know you and he'll come after you. And you love to be in a studio like setting, in a very dark studio setting. Like, even if you're an IT person, you like to work in a dark room, which has all the things that the IT person will require and need. And there's also maybe a tattoo near your navel or waist area or lower back area, or there's this natural interest towards getting tattoos. You may also have a 8-mukhi Rudraksh with you. There's a lot of things, I mean, here. There could have been complication around your birth or your father's birth. So is that true? With Sun in the 8th? I don't know whoever was asking me that. I would like to know. Mercury in Capricorn. Mercury, yes. 80% true. Okay. So Mercury in Capricorn. Well, naturally, Mercury makes a great manager in Capricorn. Absolute brilliant writer if it's in Uttarashada Nakshatra. Mercury ability to communicate is very professional, very authoritative. And naturally, Mercury is always, through their communication, get into leadership position. Like when they speak, people will listen and other people will observe. They're like, wow, this person has a great sense of, leadership in their voice. Maybe we should make them the manager or supervisor. But especially when it comes to education, you'll do excellent in communication, mass communication, PR. Or one will do very well in business management, accounting, with this type of, or like not business or accounting, more like financial management. But again, I don't know the nakshatra, so I'm only going to give you vague answers with zodiac signs. Doesn't mean shit anymore. Virgo, Jupiter on 9th house. So that means you're a Capricorn ascendant. First of all, either your father or guru is a very critical person. Like, they cannot go by without criticizing you about your belief system. And naturally, you're the kind of person who criticizes other people about their belief system. Like, oh, you're Hindu or you're Muslim or you're this. No, this is right. And you go into detail about whatever you learn about philosophy, religion. You want to go into detail because you want to criticize it and kind of like discriminate it and see exactly what is in there. What is the substantial truth in that? But definitely you learn through criticism. That whether you like it or not, a guru or teacher will always nitpick on you to teach you things. With a nakshatra, I would have been even more deeper, but I mean, is that true? And actually, there's a sense of learning either in management or in health, like biology. Is that true? Ketu in Chitra Nakshatra, Virgo. Man, you are a natural architect. You were probably an architect in your previous life and a person who kept accounts of other people. And there's a lot more to that Chitra Nakshatra. Saturn, wait a second. Saturn in the 8th house, in which Swati Nakshatra, and you say you're a Pisces ascendant. Okay. So Saturn and Swati, first of all, shows that either your elder sibling or grandmother has a very disturbed mind. Like it's always scheming and then thinking too much about things. It can also show there's natural passion for footwear, like collecting footwear, shoes, and shows that somehow whenever you purchase a shoe, your interest in occult mysticism rises. It also shows you may have some gas related issue, like farting too much, like every 5 minutes or something. Like just don't eat beans or burritos, man, with that Saturn in there. Naturally, you love walking on grass. Natural interest toward worshipping of Hanuman. One does very well doing secret work that can spread, like secretly marketing something and blasting it out. So, is that something that resonates with you or your family members or whomever? Mars in Capricorn in Dhanishta Nakshatra. 100% okay, cool. So Mars in Nakshatra Dhanishta in the sign of, I don't know which house it's in, first of all, naturally. Usually in this day and age, I see a lot of people going in technology and engineering with Mars in this sign. But there's natural affinity towards playing drums. And shows maybe your brother may have fallen in love with a person who they were dealing with, either in work or either related to learning some musical instrument from them, especially if it's in the 9th house. Your brother may run away with somebody who they were learning it from. Unless, of course, Mars is your Atmakarka, then you will run away. Oh man, Revti Ketu, you are a natural born humanitarian. You are naturally into, like, you either had great affinity for Jesus or Krishna. Like, wanting to either even join like ISKCON or something. Great affinity to saving animals. Going towards like helping out PETA or, saving rescued animals. And in past life shows, you did this. So naturally, Ketu kind of sets your personality into this and natural love for isolation. And Ketu in Revti is one of the most prominent places to have your third eye awakened. Okay. Oh my God, there's so many. Waning. What is this? Mars in Rohini Nakshatra in the 7th house, Scorpio ascendant. Shows that your brother has the ability to look at a woman and get a woman just like that. And you as well, because it's your ascendant lord. Naturally, you will have multiple relationships or affairs. And natural love for exotic cars, sports. And naturally, you are attracted towards doing business. And especially either in the 22nd year, most definitely in the 22nd year, you must have dealt with some sort of like a romantic and scandal at work, or maybe you were dating somebody and then suddenly started dating somebody else. because you were bored with the other person. So let me know if that took place or something close to that, even though many people have a hard time admitting some things. You're welcome, but was it? I mean, did I resonate with it or what? With the Mars and Rohini? I would like to know the answer so I know exactly, if, I mean, what's working, what's not. So far, I mean, what I've done with my people just in private, I mean, it has been the most amazing thing with this nakshatra. I don't see it. Rahu, what? Rahu in Chitra 7th house. Well, naturally shows that the spouse will be either an accountant or somebody who's like an architect, not necessarily an architect, but somebody who likes to arrange things. And they would have great affinity for like arts, drawing, painting. Chitra can also show, especially your spouse would wake up at 3:30 to 4 a.m. in the morning to get something from the fridge or do something. They love doing past life regression, love wearing multicolored thing, and naturally interested in like bodybuilding or body sculpting. Okay, thank you. So how was that with your Rahu, with the Rahu description in Chitra? Anyone? Anyone? I'm still waiting. Was that something that resonates with you? With Rahu and Chitra in the 7th house or what? I should know the names of people. Hold on. My question was oh, you're unmarried. Okay. Yeah, see, that's another thing. Like if you do this reading for somebody who's 20, 24, they may not even resonate with most of it. Like especially with people who are 40, 38, 35, they just get the nakshatras because they have gone through a real source of, that life experiences, good or bad. Okay, so anyway, guys, I am gonna be going, but remember, I have a nakshatra reading on my website right now open under option 18. Because as you know, I'm gonna be leaving for Chicago tonight, so that's why I just wanted to do this live thing for you, so you don't miss me. So don't miss me. But yes, nakshatras are everything. There's actually, I don't know if I should do this live. I don't think it'll work if I do it live. But you can do prashna with nakshatra just like that. You don't even need to put in anything in the software. Just a nakshatra prashna will give exactly what's happening. So that's something I cannot do it openly because it's not gonna work, because then everybody will be like giving some number, and it has to be just one-on-one with a person, whether it's through email or. But it was amazing, like whoa. Anyway, if you're new to my channel, subscribe below. If you need books, reports, consultations, nakshatra reading, check out Astrology KRS. Otherwise, we'll see you later.